Hola, buenas tardes a todos. Hoy estamos un día más en el online OboeFest y hoy es un día, bueno, un día un poco mejor ya, ¿no? Parece que cosas en la que nos encontramos, pues muy ligeramente, muy ligeramente quiere un poco mejor. Hoy tenemos con nosotros a José Fernando, un oboísta y y nos va a hablar de la rutina de su profesional. Creo que va a ser interesante porque él tiene visión no solo de como oboísta, ¿cierto? Como compositor también. Y a veces ayuda mucho, ¿no? Eso, porque no solo estás enfocado en tu estudio diario, sino que una persona que también escribe para instrumentos, ¿no? Y los instrumentos, evidentemente, pues viene muy bien ese aporte, esa visión, ¿no? Del día a día. Hoy la entrevista va a ser en inglés. Va a hablar en inglés. Por supuesto, si alguien pregunta, puede hacer en español y se la pasaré a él. Y bueno, ahí vamos a presentarle un poco de esto. We are one day more in the office. Today we are going to speak with José Fernando, who is a Portuguese voice, and he will about how can we this a daily routine for a professional oboist. I think this is very interesting streaming today because he's gonna show us not only the technical, I mean, not only or technical oboe part because he's also so yeah, he has bigger photo about the oboe, right? Okay, join him to us. Follow, please. Yes, I think you are not much. The conversation. Let's see if it's working the device technology.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello.
Conversation. Let's see if it's working the device
How are you?
technology.
Okay.
Okay. Hello. Conversation. If it's working the
How are you?
yeah. Yeah. Short delay, right? Okay, wait a second. I will take some. Wait for a second. I'm coming back.
Can I start? In just 1 hour of classes, 1 hour of studying. What you gonna do the rest of the day is gonna be just a nightmare. 1 hour of classes, 1 hour of studying is gonna be a nightmare. So what you gonna do? For example, the very first session, you need to be really sit down, well sit down. A good chair is important for you because we have all different sizes of legs, so you can adjust and can raise the chair and see if your legs are straight in a 90 degrees angle. So let's start. For me, it's really important when you have you take the reed for the first day, and when you play, the very first time you play, the reed gives you exactly the very first notion how it is. If you play the reed and the reed is really too hard in the beginning of the day, it's because she's really too hard. My advice is not to wait. Oh, I have to get used to this very hard read. It's my problem. The read is good, but I have to try. I have to do. Don't do that. That is a terrible mistake. If you take a read and if the read is too hard for you on the beginning of the day, it means that we have problems with YouTube. The sound is not okay. Maybe it's my internet. So if the reed is to just scrape the reed. If the reed doesn't allow you to play piano, just scrape the reed. If the reed doesn't allow you to if the reed doesn't allow you to if the reed the reed doesn't make you happy, scrape. Don't I had one teacher that was not okay for me, because he was always saying you have to get used to this reed. This reed is good. The problem is you have to get used to. You have to play. You have to study. If you don't play well, it's because the reed is not good. That is a mistake. You have to adapt. When you buy a reed on a store, the reed is only 80% ready. You need to prepare the reed for yourself. We are all different. We have different mouths, different tongues, tongue length. We have different teeth. So you cannot buy a reed on the store and just study with like she is. If I spoke a few years ago with Michael Kunibert, that is dead, unfortunately, and he said, "Okay, my machines are really good, but you need to work your reeds. The reed doesn't come from the machine, doesn't come ready. She needs to be scraped. She needs to be prepared for." What you are playing, who you are, and what's the machine, the kind of oboe you play, the pitch you play. Because, for example, I play in the Casa da Música in my ensemble, and we tune at 4/4-2. And my colleagues on the symphonic orchestra, the big orchestra, they tune the orchestra at 4/4-1. So we need to prepare it, to adapt to it. So I play and the reed is really a very easy reed I use. I have the habit to say my reeds are to 6 years old students, oboe students. I hate strong reeds. It's a bad idea. It's a bad notion that to have a nice sound you have to have a very strong reed. That is silly. That is stupid. To have a nice sound, you have to have a good technique, amateur technique. You have to breathe, and especially you have to sing a nice sound. You have to dream with a nice sound inside of you. If a nice sound is not inside of you, is not inside of your heart and your head, you cannot make a nice sound. Even if you have the most fabulous reading in the world, you're gonna be always fighting with that material, because it's not an ensemble. Your reed and you are not working as an ensemble. Your reed is not helping you. You are being a slave you are working for the reed that someone give to you because he plays very or she plays very well, and you want to play with that reed. And no, that is a mistake. You have to adapt to read for yourself. You have to do a read for yourself always. You have how to do that. Just take time. Just take time. Just try. And the best way to learn how to adapt the read for yourself, or to do. I'm a bit against machines for read making, scraping machine, not gouging machine, of course. Because now it's a bit, I'm a bit against that, because now people goes to a store and they buy a machine. They don't care what kind of scrape, if it's the right scrape for the kind of music he do, because a good scrape for a symphonic orchestra is not a good scrape for an ensemble or or to a chamber orchestra. Usually scrapes are for a symphonic orchestra need to be a bit shorter. Scrapes for a chamber orchestra, very small orchestra, needs to be a bit more long to scrape, to lose a bit of projection and to have a more friendly and warm sound. Okay, let's see. I started today. I don't do scales. This is dramatic to say that in a live. I don't practice scales. I had my very first conservatoire teacher was obsessed with scales. I passed all 8 years doing scales, sometimes 45 minute scales each class, and I hate that. I'm not against him, but I don't think that. So I do usually not less than 3 hours of studying a day, and after I wake up, stretch, making breathing exercises to know that my diaphragm is working well, it's working the way that it's supposed to be. I started with studies. I do 10, 15 minutes of studies. Usually now I'm working, I'm a study addict. I'm working now with Salviani volume number 2, that have exercises, very small exercises that I use instead of making scales. I use to practice because they are very small examples of scales, and I don't do scales. For example, I think that is rubbish, is a bit stupid to be this is a bit silly to be 1 hour studying C major, C sharp major scale, because in the oboe repertoire, and even I play in orchestra from the last, I don't know, 25 years I play in orchestra. We never, I never played a solo in C sharp major. I never played a noble piece in C sharp major. So why to spend hours studying C sharp major if you need to study so much, since you need to study your repertoire, you need to prepare your audition. So I just study studies, and how I study, I use because I have three at least minimum 3 sessions of study, 3 hours of studying a day. I do these exercises in 6 different ways. All the exercises of Salviani are in 16s, so they are composed really. And this is only one example. This is G major number 5. And okay, what I do, I started to make what is called Thomas rhythms, Thomas Ingebrigtsen rhythms, but I learned with him. But a lot of teachers used this kind of rhythms. I started with this kind of making this kind of rhythm. So instead of doing equal 16ths, so this is the very first version of the same exercise, and I do 3 times these versions. What I use usually is try to work my brain also. This is a kind of you have to inform yourself. We call mindfulness exercises, and I used to work my exercises, my brain and my concentration. I do, for example, in the same exercise, I mix articulations. I do shortish and longer articulations. For example, I do one version long and 4/16 short. Next 4/16 long and the other short. And I can also, for example, if I want to get really focused and concentrated, I can even mix and make it the 4/16 long and the next 4/16 short and piano. For example, and if you do this very first exercise, piano, staccato, legato, you're gonna see that you spent a lot of time studying that. Okay, and the second version of exercise is an inversion of the first. So. And so on. And after I started in the second hour of studying, I started this very second session of study with the same exercise, but in a different rhythm. So is accentuating the very first one of the 16s. Is really important, and for me it's what I'm always saying to my students: please always study your exercises, always make your exercises dreaming and thinking that you are playing a Vivaldi concerto or Mozart concerto. Never when I was young, I had one reed to play the scales. I had one reed to play the studies and exercise like I'm playing to you, and one reed to make the pieces. That is really silly. I strongly recommend not to do that. Just one reed that is have to be good enough to play Mozart concerto, oboe concerto, C major scale, and these Salvian exercises. Just one read is important for you, and always think that you are playing, make an audition, not thinking, no, I'm studying scales, nobody's listening to me, so I can make a ugly sound. Don't think that is for your brain. That is a big mistake. It's awful because your brain doesn't work like that. Your brain when you play, you make exercises. Some spots in your brain open lights in spots in your brain that is called synapses. It's some places that work when you play. And if you play with a different reed from the reed used in Mozart Oboe Concerto, the places in your brain are also different that you use. Is really funny. If you play with a longer reed, your brain is gonna construct a synapse that is a group of neurons. I don't know how to say in English. And if you go to Mozart Concerto and use a shorter reed, the place that where your brain process all the information is different. It's not the same place. So you are losing your time using one or two or even three different reeds. So if you want to play well, always dream that you are playing Berlin Philharmonic. Even if you play on a scale, just an oboe scale, or even if you play an exercise like Salviani, always think that you are playing a nice solo, you are doing a competition, you are playing Berlin Philharmonic. So, and go on, another rhythm, that is the fifth rhythm. And to finish, the sixth rhythm. So 6 rhythms, at least 3 times is 18 times repeating same exercise. Usually, because I do some variations of the dynamics, I do some what I call brain exercises. It means that I play 36, 52 times the same exercise just to warm up. This is my basis. This is what I need to play at least every day to feel not to feel too anxious and to feel in control of my instrument, the most completely control I can. Just go and be inventive. This is, I have a friend of mine, a trumpet player, that is always making the point of that. Just make your own exercises. Just invent your own exercises. Just challenge your brain to mix the exercise that your teacher do in a different way. That is really important, because you just play. You're gonna play well if you get smarter, if you start to think faster, and that is a challenge that you have to put in yourself, and it's not your teacher responsibility. You have to think fast is one thing that is inside of you. You have to think, to demand your brain to just think fast, just do it fast, just do it different. So my after I do these exercises, I go to my ensemble repertoire. Okay, one thing I want to do, I would like to tell you also, just challenge yourself doing this exercise also in terms of speed. One thing that it's really a mistake if you speak with a cycling coach or a neurologist, a doctor. It's really not very efficient if you pass, for example, studying Mozart concerto at average speed of 116 or 120, and you're gonna play an audition at 132, the Mozart concert. it doesn't work like that. Your brain doesn't work like that. So just challenge yourself. How to play. If you want to play at 132 Mozart concert, you have to study it at 132, and sometimes you have to risk it and to study more than 132, because you just have to prepare your brain to think so fast. Many people think that the problem of not playing fast is not have fingers to do it. That is not right. Sometimes you cannot play fast because your brain do not think fast enough. Your brain, your neurologic system need to make shortcuts, need to find a way to contact your peripheric nervous system, that is your fingers, your touch feelings. So you have to really adapt your brain how to play fast. If you cannot play fast, if you don't demand your brain to think fast, you will not able to play fast. That is not possible. Even if you have the nicest fingers in the world, the most beautiful fingers in the world, that will not happen. You have to really to be crazy in your own studio and to do crazy things to know where is your limit when you play. Like, for example, you have to know where is your exercise, to where your limits. And sometimes when you study, you have just take 5 minutes and to try to play 10% more of your limit. You go to your metronome and you say, my limit is, for example, 132. So 132, you try to play at least 5 minutes, a bit more than 10% more than 132. Just to demand, just to prepare your brain to think fast, to move fast, to look fast, to hear fast. That is also the problem with staccato. That is also the problem with all the technical stuff of oboe. Just people sometimes cannot play because their brain is not prepared to think so fast and to process so much information at the same time. For example, the problem of staccato, I realized with time that staccato, my biggest problem with staccato and double staccato was that it was not my tongue, it was not my technique, it was the way I was thinking staccato, and I just could not sing so fast in staccato as I need to play on my ensemble. Sometimes we need to play really fast, really at 168, 172 in staccato. I play classic modern music, and that I'm always on the highest range of my instrument in terms of speed, or I'm playing really very fast when I have to play really very slow. Classic music is the modern classic music. The modern composers are really they don't care if the oboe it's more difficult instrument than the clarinet. They just don't care. They just write the same music for the oboe, for the clarinet, and for the flute. They don't want to know if the oboe is more difficult, or if the oboe is more response with more difficulties. They don't care. They usually write on the computer and they put you playing same music as the principal flute, the soloist flute, and that it was a big challenge for me, but it made me really grow up as a musician. And most of the limitations I had in the past was here inside of my brain, that I was not prepared to think so fast and to process so much information in the same time. So if you want to process, just making really crazy things to know your limits, and like you are like the very top athletes, just pass a few minutes above your limit, just to make your body grow up and your mind grow up. Our brain is a muscle, and it's a muscle that needs to be excited and work it and train it. So I do all these exercises with different rhythms, with different. For example, one thing that is really the most things the most difficult thing I need to do in my ensemble is, for example, to play double staccato, double tongue with different dynamics. It was the very first times I had to play that. It was so difficult, and it's very difficult to play double tongue with in the piano and in forte on same time sometimes. So I'm going to try. I don't know if I'm able to do that now. For example, that is for me one of the most difficult things to do in my instrument, and a thing that I'm still working on, and I work each day for seven days a week. I need to study this because it's really very difficult. So then after these exercises, I go to my ensemble repertoire. That 15 minutes with these exercises, 35 minutes more or less with my ensemble repertoire, and I finish with tune exercises, with intonation exercise, with sound exercises, with vibrato exercises, and the very last 10-15 minutes of each session I study only long notes and the exercises like and after I stop. I go to my compositions. I'm writing music. I'm writing oboe concerto, and I jump for that or making reads. So these advices. We can split these exercises I'm giving to you, or this way to play in the age group. So, for example, if you have more than 35 years old, I think that is not very useful to study 3 hours in a row. Our body changes at 35, 40 years old, so it's much more productive if you stay and if you stop and you stay study again in the late afternoon. It's because our concentration levels goes down after 30 minutes of study. Of course, if you are 21 or 24 or 26 years old, you can easily study 3 hours in the morning in a row. But be careful that sometimes it's not. If you speak with a neurologist, it's not very productive to study so much in a row. It's much more useful if you study, and if you, after you go to a museum, or if you read a book, or if you go to make if you go make a run or a walk in the park, is much more useful, because your brain needs to absorb all the information, and it needs to process all the information, and for that it needs time. And the time it needs is different from each other of us. I need one time, maybe you that are listening, you need more time, or you need less time to learn one thing. So you need to exactly to know the speed you learn the things to program your study. For example, I'm going to play. Next October. I'm going to play Castiglione, Aleph. It's a piece that is well known. And instead of waiting to August or September to start to study, I'm already starting to study. Why? Because I just want to study 10-15 minutes a day and lift the score. I know that in October I'm going to have the score memorized, and I'm going to be playing without any problem. So is the way I work, is the way I feel, is the way my brain works. Is always different. I have colleagues that don't like to do that. My colleagues on my ensemble, they like to study. They just like to study the month before the performance. They like to take the piece and study 6 hours a day that piece. They understand. They feel they are much more productive in that way. I respect them. I like them a lot, but I'm not like that. I like to play 10-15 minutes for 4, 5, 6 months, and just arrive into that date, and I'm ready and prepared. So I need so many things to do to speak to you. I need at least 100 hours of a life of directo. It's not. I can't do that. I'm already feeling a bit tired. Just I'm going to do this live more times, and to also to present my oboe concerto, the concert I'm writing for oboe and orchestra, but in another time. I'm getting a bit tired now, so my advice for you: just spend more time to know you to understand how your body feels, then to really studying on that shadow that someone is programming for you, of like your teacher, because as I want to repeat, we are all different. We all need to. We have all different speeds to learn. We have all different needs, and so just take care and think yourself, and get to know yourself, and you're gonna find, after you know really yourself well, you're gonna find the best way to study, how many days you need to study, how many days of rest you need to study. For example, in 5, my cycle is cycles of 5 days of studying. Each 5, on the end of 5th day of studying, I do 1 day of rest. I stop. I'm going to swim. I'm going to the gymnasium. I'm going to a museum. I go to the cinema to see an opening of a movie. because I know that in the end of 5 days of studying, my will to study and to improve is going down. So at the end of the fifth day, I stopped. I don't care if it's Sunday, if it's Monday, or if it's Thursday. I did a block of 5 days of studying, and I stopped one day. That is the way I am. That is the way I work best. Try to find your own speed. Try to find the way to see which day, if you start to study, for example, in Monday, what's the day that you feel a lack of energy. And that day, it's a day that you should stop. You should not study. You should just relax. Take a time for yourself. Just being yourself. Just go out with your friends or your family. Just have to try to cook that very nice dish, that very nice food that you like, and because it's a sign of your body, your brain, and your body that it needs to relax. If you don't have energy, just stop. Don't study. That is gonna be, if you study when you are in a diminuendo of energy, you're gonna feel miserable. You're gonna be depressed, and in the other day it's gonna be worse. So, what's the point? So, bye bye. Thank you very much to be present on this directo, on this live and direct. I'm going to try to be more times and to play with you my own repertoire, to show you my own repertoire. But it's getting a bit late for me. And bye bye. Have a nice time, and I hope to see you again.
Hi. Hello, José.
Olá.
Olá.
Eu não sei quanto tempo eu demorei, eu perdi o...
Agora ainda estamos, ainda ficamos online. As pessoas
ok.
Agora não são. Nós tiveramos alguns... Let's talk it.
Sim, podes dizer, desculpa, estava a desligar o meu telefone. Podes falar.
So we get some problems, some technical problems in the very beginning. So like the...
Yes, I don't know what happened.
Moment, I think was something delay with some screens or something. Anyway, I think everything you said is very interesting. So thank you very much for your conference. Let's say it was a conference. Thank you very much. And I'm totally support your idea of how to study, taking rest, take energy back, and everything slow and push your brain to make new connections, neuronal connection. That's very awesome. I think it's very interesting, and not too much people is thinking about like this. Do you remember this spot in the television, like energy without control is nothing?
Exactly. I agree 100%.
So, and it's very interesting. I did all the time, and I thought it was only the crazy man who is doing that. Like when you are in the limit with the metronome, with the metronome, with the rhythm and with everything, just pushing a little bit for a while, and then push yourself.
Yes, I have a theory. I'm writing an article. I need time. I just need 35 hours a day to my day are too small. I need more hours a day. I have my theory is like, for example, if you have an elastic, if you most of students, what they do is every day they put the elastic, but when they leave the elastic is on the same size. And I study physics, and I don't know how to say in English, limiar da elasticidade. Linear da elasticidade, it's a physics term that when you push the elastic a bit further, when you leave the elastic is a bit longer. It's not the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Our head works exactly like that. If we are always learning in that parameters we teach on conservatory, just studying Mozart at 120. Don't go farther than that. And I passed years studying Mozart at 120 because all my teachers say that. And so when I arrived to the concert or to audition, I felt always very uncomfortable because 120 actually was my limit. And I was real anxious, and they say, oh, and if the pianist plays a bit faster, I'm going to die because I'm not prepared, because my head is not prepared to sing so fast. And one thing I learned by myself is that just one time, one season, 1 hour in a day, you should know what is your limit. And like the elastic, go a bit further. Push your elastic, that is our brain, is a very elastic thing, and go further. And when you leave, you are much more intelligent, actually, because it's the way I'm reading. Sorry, I'm looking back. I shouldn't do that. I'm trying to find a I'm reading a book of neurology, of brain anatomy, the way brains works, and it's really, we should really look in the very serious way for how neurologists teach us our brain, that we're gonna learn as a teachers and as a players a lot how to study. And I started to get faster with my fingers when I started to get faster with my brain.
Your brain.
I started to sing faster. My fingers are the same I had in when I was 26 years old. So I know that please forgive me to say that I feel that I'm a bit more intelligent. My brain works faster. It's a bit. I always feel a bit uncomfortable to say that, but actually my brain is working faster, and so I can play really very fast things. And just because I push myself, I push over the limit myself, sometimes because I want, but sometimes because I had to play music that is sorry to say that it's fucking faster. And so I had to find some tools to deal with this problem. And I'm happy to add that challenge because now I feel more intelligent, and is what and I'm not special. I'm just a person that studies a lot, just studies a lot. Uh, since I'm a boy in my conservatoire in high school, I never felt that I was the best player. But one thing I was the what study more and more serious. I was very serious, very motivated always, and I think that if you wanna be a good musician, you just have to think more as an athlete and as physically, but mentally as an athlete. Your brain is a machine. It's can be a Ferrari if you work your brain as a Ferrari. If you always work studying too slow, your brain is like a farm tractor. It can't do fast things because because he's not used to, because he's a muscle and he's not used to, he has no areas in our brain, sports areas that can help you. And let's go. And so I have I'm in a brainstorm now. I need like 5 hours to speak about this subject. I'd like to have another opportunity.
I totally understand you because, for example, I felt in the past when I was preparing auditions for everything to try to get some position in everywhere. You know that moment when you go to sleep, you are not sleeping but almost. And I felt the best moment for practicing for me was when I was thinking at that moment, studying, really making, okay, this Mozart concerto or this Scala di Seta. I was processing everything very slow, taking a picture in my mind about everything was the thing. And when people is coming here to prepare an audition or exam for some place, I always tell the same. You need to work with your head, also with your brain. That's very important.
Yeah. Well, I think that auditions are not a good example because
of course,
honestly, I don't believe in auditions. I think auditions are all fake.
Yeah, me too. But unfortunately, you know, if you wanna get a position, you need to pass an audition.
Yeah. But 90% of that are fake auditions. So
this is another topic, I think.
Well, let's use that subject. So yes, mental training is what we need more to do in the music, and we are not used to do, because I speak from the Portuguese music schools. We are still working in that very old French system, that very solid, very fixed, very slow. And in one thing that is not happening in our music schools is the part of the mental brain. And I feel a pity of that. We need to work more with psychologists, with doctors, to find in a student or in ourselves as a teacher ways to deal with some situation. And the auditions is also a very known situation that we are against confronting 4, 5, 6 members of the jury. And so it's one thing that we just gonna be successful if our mind is prepared for that. It's not necessary to study 8 hours of a day, and if your mind is not working, you're gonna arrive to the stage and you're gonna be a disaster, because your body, your mind is not prepared for that crash, for that, and it's very severe, and you have a lot of hormones going around your body, a lot of cortisona. And so for dealing with that in audition, you need to prepare, and prepare is your mind with that. And the best way is just close your eyes and try to visualize what you do on stage. Just try to, maybe I have a friend that the way he deals with the public and juries is just to close his eyes and to think that all the jury is naked. And so he says that when he thinks about that, he starts to laugh inside, and so he forgets the nerves, he forgets the anxiety, because he feels himself in a very silly and stupid situation, and it's way he puts his hormones low. And for me, the way I prepare an audition or a live concert in Remix Ensemble at Casa da Música, all the concerts are records live. And most of the pieces, one piece in a concert, two pieces in a concert, are put in CD. Casa da Música is now her own brand label, recording label, and they are, and is always live recordings. And so it's really very stressing, live recordings, because you know that you can't fail. And if you fail in that piece, you're gonna ruin the recording. They can't fix that because it is a live recording. So the way I deal with that is the same way I deal with another audition. It's just to close a few days before. Like if the concert is Saturday, I start on Monday. When I'm going to the bed, 20 minutes before, I sit down myself in a chair and I close my eyes and I try to visualize the concert I'm going to do. I try to know to know exactly where I have to be really concentrate, where I have to play a very difficult passage, or when I going to relax in the concert. So when I arrive to the concert, it's not new for me. It's a thing that my mind is already prepared. It has already some tools, some screws to deal with. Of course, new things happen, but 80% is already doing in your mind. And one of things that we humans don't react well is to the surprise. And sometimes we are very anxious because we don't know what is going to happen. And if we put the conception of surprise a bit smaller, you don't get so afraid to go to the stage because you are already prepared for everything is going to happen. Of course, when I remember when I was playing once some match at Passion in Perrocopo at Casa da Música, the Christ, the singer that do the Christ personage, he fell over in the concert. Of course, we cannot prepare ourselves for that. But, we cannot imagine what is going to happen in the concert, and he felt badly and desmayó. I don't know how the term in English.
Don't know how to say in English, but
he looked the sense, and he felt. Of course, we cannot. But in a normal concert, it's everything is in our brain, and I think that is time enough. We are already in the 19th century. We are already very. Not I'm saying bad from the teacher I had. I still love them, but now we are different persons. We have access of much more information, and we need just to stop to studying really in that like we were in army, really mechanic way, and thinking more as a part of universe. We have energy in ourselves. Our brain works with energy, with amperes, very small amount of amperes, and just to see everything as a human being, not a machine, but a human being with feelings, with a brain, with a nervous system, and we can really stop. Once I heard, not a long time ago, I read a newspaper notice in German that orchestra Staatskapelle of Berlin, they were having a lot of mental problems, special anxiety attacks and depressions. They were not dealing well with the standard that was asked from Barenboim. And I spoke with Gregor Witt from the soloist from Staatskapelle, and he say, yes, a bit is true, a bit like that. Barenboim is pushing us a lot. I'm not suffering that now because I'm not playing so much in orchestra now, but my colleagues in orchestra have that problem. Maybe instead, and that is a huge problem, mental problem in the principal, the biggest orchestra that most of musicians are taking pills and taking support to deal with so much responsibility. Maybe we need to think a bit more as human beings, and we need to allow ourselves to fail, to not playing perfect. We are getting one idea of perfection. Everyone has to play perfection, but we humans, we are not perfect persons. So and we can, but anyway, we can prepare ourselves as musicians in our house, making mental training to know our biorhythms. That is one thing that, for example, the very top athletes that I speak with, they have a watch. In the watch, they are always seeing their biorhythm on the watch, because for them it's really important to know how is their body, if they are tired, if they are energetic, if they are stressed, if their blood heart rate is way too high. And maybe we musicians need more to think as top athletes and not as a machines. And so we need to understand our body. And if we cannot understand our body for ourselves, we cannot be afraid to ask for help, to go psychologists, and to say, for example, all the players, Futebol Clube do Porto.
Sorry?
Futebol Clube do Porto, the soccer team, football team.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not very much a football team.
Okay. Let's talk about Madrid or Barcelona. You know that all the players of the very expensive players, they have psychologists, sport psychologists. That is a psychologist that works with them a few times on a week, trying to potentialize their rhythm and their abilities. So I think that in music we need to do that much more. We need, instead of spending so much money in something that, in clothes or in a new shoes, we just save a few euros and go to a very nice psychologist, a very nice lady or a very nice man. I special, the oldest one are the goodest one, and to say, okay, I want to play better. I feel this and I feel that and I feel that. So can you help me out to resolve these problems in a situation that I'm playing for live or I'm recording? And the one thing I find really interesting, that they are very simple tools, very simple gestures that takes only 5 minutes in a day, and in 3 months it's wow, it's so much different. We feel so much able to play, so much stronger. We can step the stage with our head up and no, with afraid of.
Yeah. Well, I met a few definitely, say. Lydia Iglesias Bamonde, who is a very nice English player, an oboist, of course. She's asking us if you can say some very short tip for practice frullato, throat frullato.
Well, of course, the very first person that teach me to make frullato was Thomas Indermuller, and it didn't work with me. So like double tongue, I had to invent my own exercises. Frullato also. I do frullato with my tongue, not with my throat. I do frullato like the clarinetists and the flute players. with the tongue, not with the throat. Because why? Because I got an operation when I was young, when I was 7 years old, to take out my amygdalas, and my throat it was severe damage in that operation. And so if I try to make flutter with my throat, I get sick. I get really sick. I lose my voices and voice, etc. So, but anyway, what really make me when I was working with Oliver said, "Oh, it can't be possible." And I played, and he looked at me. What are you doing? And yes, it's possible to do flutter with the tongue. It's just a question of trying. So it's like doing double tongue or doing circular breathing. Honestly, I don't know an exercise to give you. I just started to do it. I saw the clarinetist, maybe the musician I most admire in my ensemble is Victor, and I do it, and I went home and I said, "Oh, I have to do it. I love," and because it's special, because when you need to make really very light, loud frullato in fortissimo, with the tongue, you cannot compete with the cornet player and the flute player. It's not possible. The tongue, the throat frullato just works in piano, mezzo piano. So if you need, for example, to make I'm sorry, like Shenakis, some. It's really nasty, but in a Xenakis you have to play one page in frullato like this, really ugly, really nasty, and you have to compete with the E flat clarinet sometimes. And so I started to do it with the very tip of my tongue. I move my location. I don't know how to say in English. My upper lip a bit inside, and I make with the very first centimeter of the lingua, the tongue. And I'm just realizing now, I also make a bit of support, pushing the reed up to my upper teeth.
Upper lip, yeah.
And in a while, you started to do dynamics, but please forgive me. Honestly, I don't know where and when and why I started to do dynamics. I just think to do piano and I do piano.
Yeah.
But
and actually, when people ask me, "How you do it?" I just do it.
It's just my conductor is a fantastic conductor. He conducts Peter Rundell. He conducts ensemble in contemporary, Paris Orchestra, and etc. And he said, "I want this kind of flutter," and I said, "I can't play. I don't care. I want that." And I started that. The only thing I do, it's a bit cheating, is when you go to upper notes, you tend to be out of tune. And for example, in second octave, always, if I can, and I wrote that on my book exercise, the exercise I did last year, I play with harmonics always. Or, for example, if you have a B, for example, I play two or I play the harmonic. When I play flutter, always the harmonic positions. I never played with straight position because they get too low because your embouchure is going back properly. Or I play 1/4 of tone higher. I play like a natural B, one with the all open, 1/4 higher. So when you play flutter, you play in tune with your colleagues, because one thing really nasty that now new composers are doing, they are always pushing ourselves to the limit, and they put, for example, 3 instruments playing unisono in flutter, and they want to be played in tune. It's terrible. It's a big, for me, it's a big mistake. But they won't. They write on the computer and they won't.
It's funny.
Yeah, they just, I don't care. You have to do it. I'm paying to you. You have to do it. And so I do. Yes, it's true. Yes, it's true.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
my job is it's like that. We are paid to play their music, and sometimes we say, oh, well, I'm not a computer. I cannot do a flutter unisono with the piano in tune, but they don't want to care. So the way I resolve things is with usually going up 1/4 of tone, and because it's quite usually we have to play music in with quarters of tones. I'm losing the right name. Serialist music, and so like Doriot, Pascal Duzapin, same music that we play a lot of ensemble intercontemporary repertoire. We split our share the same composers, same conductors, and actually next year we're gonna be playing with them, making in Paris artistic residence. So because I'm used to do that, it's a mental game. It's very difficult, but it takes sometimes to play. To play one phrase I need 3 months of study to make one solo, one phrase, because I need to find the right fingering to sound in tune. Just if we do the right fingering, the normal fingering, we're gonna play really out of tune, and nowadays it's not allowed to play out of tune.
Unfortunately, right?
Unfortunately, they because they write on the computer and they want that, and there's a classic musician, Bulgarian musician, quite classic. I played with Peter Edfos, that old one, and he wrote flutter song pianissimo in tune with the flute. So we need to play like that.
And the flute was in the 3rd octave, right?
Huh?
And the flute was in the 3rd octave or something like this.
No, the first octave. And it was very silly because the oboe was to play pianissimo, and in competition with the flute in the very first octave. You know how flute can be really soft on the
or low notes. They are also almost like clarinet.
And I play flutter pianissimo in unisono with her. It was a mistake. So like flutters, like double tongue, I have my very own way to make double tongue. I make with my tongue really on the tip of my tongue. No, with my very first 1 centimeter of tongue, not down like
too long, too large.
It's too large, too ugly, too out of tuning, and one again destroys my throat completely, makes me sick. So I find a place that but it's quite easy. I remember that unfortunately Samuel that died also learning 1 or 2 days, Katerina, and also it's quite easy. It's just to be sit down in a sofa, seeing television, and and in a few hours, in a few days, it's gonna work. And it's like a double tongue. Works, but takes time because it's not a physical thing; it's a mental thing. It's like learning people are breathing. You just need, your brain needs to it's seeing a new thing, and it needs to find the right spots to light the right spot of the brain. It's just take it easy. If you are not pressed, if you have not a composer with a gun point to you, just take your easy, and in 3 months you're gonna need to you're gonna be able to do that. And especially what my colleague from trumpet says always: make your own knowledge, be your own teacher. We have to have courage in one time at 25, 26 years old to stop to listen to teachers and to start to grow up as a musician and make. If we don't have that, we don't have, for example, Stradivarius work himself how to do a fantastic violin. If we don't think ourselves about our reeds, our instruments, our techniques, classic music is gonna die. It's gonna die because we are not inventing ourselves. So if we can, we need to come back to that times of Renaissance, that we make a dream and make our own knowledge and dream about new reeds, a way to make a new instrument, to play a bit faster or a bit slower. And wow, maybe one of us, is not me, is going to be the next Stradivarius in the oboe, or the next Paganini. Let's invent something that is dying, that is slowing down. For example, Eric, you know that in conservatoires we are using books from the 19th century. We don't have books for 20 for a 20 years old musician. We don't have books, tutorials to teach, because they have 1 century, and some of them more than 1 century. So we need to rush. We are very intelligent. You are an amazing musician, and we need to make knowledge. We need to write books. We need to invent new techniques. We need to push further the oboe playing. If not, we are always we're gonna die studying. Yes, always, and you're gonna die. You're gonna have teacher, students, and your student in 50 years old, you're gonna be always studying Fairing and Mozart concerto and Mozart concerto.
Yeah, all the time. The machine is working. Clong, clong.
Yeah, we need to stop, because we are very intelligent. We have a very good gray mass inside. So let's respect the old, and let's creating something new. Let's be. It's always what Oliver is always saying. Stop to think about them. Start to do yourself. Start to write music. Start to invent yourself. I strongly agree with him. Just, it's time to stop. It's time to, of course, we can respect the Britain metamorphosis.
It's time to the innovation, right? Innovation.
Yeah, but we need to get further. If not, we don't have new Mahlers, we don't have new Richard Strauss, we don't have nothing.
No, but unfortunately, we have new Maluma or something like this.
Yeah.
Very, very uncomfortable. When I see these people, this is another totally topic, and this is for finish, just come up. When I see this, I don't know, this reggaeton or any song, this written by 10 people, maybe. You say, letter from the music by Babette. My God, how Mahler or Wagner did it? Only one guy wrote everything, hours and hours of music. And for make this 1 minute and a half song, they need 20 people. Anyway, anyway.
That is industry.
They say even speak about. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have to respect, and we have to. I did a post graduation, and and I had a teacher on that post graduation that say that everything is marketing. He says always in the classes. The classes was marketing, social marketing, and he was always saying to me, Dr. José, everything that you do in your life is marketing. So what we can learn with them, that reggaetons people, is how to make marketing, how to make music, how to make money. So we cannot ignore them. We need to take from them what is important for us.
Absolutely, the good things, yeah, the marketing, how they put the music, the industry. But
and let the silliest people be happy in the question of music theory and music knowledge. Always when I see on MTV video, I'm always trying to absorb something I can take for myself, or a question of management of times, or a question of looking the public, and we can always take something good from them and use for ourselves. If not, for example, I don't know if you know, but in the States there's a huge worry that now the houses of concerts, the concert halls, are getting really empty. No problem.
Long time.
Yeah, because especially in the States, not in Europe, especially in States, they didn't adapt to new times. They still are playing same music
the same way. Yeah.
Exactly. They don't get fancy, or they don't innovate. They are always using the same clothes, playing same protocol, same ritual, and they are really having really very big financial problems because they don't adapt to now our new days. So in Europe we are adapting. You see Berlin Philharmonic, what they are doing. They are really on the edge of technologies, on the edge. They are doing new music. They are really always trying to see what is happening around them, because they need to make money for paying salaries, because the orchestra supports themselves. So Casa da Música is a bit like that also. Yeah, it's always looking around, and to know we played with fado, we played with jazz, we did fado, we did the rock, we did heavy metal with a group of really heavy metal, very heavy, and because it's a way to bring public to concert halls, and to also to understand that people come to see, for example, Mão Morta, that is a very heavy metal group, rock music, Portuguese music. They're gonna see, most of them, they're gonna see for the first time an oboe, a bassoon, or even a cello. And so that is also our social responsibility to show to them that people that are always on the cave, on the garage, listen music, to show them an oboe, to show them a bassoon, or even a celesta. And the experience I had, they are really exciting when they see an oboe. Oh, what is that? It's an oboe. Play for me. They are really wonderful people, and they love music. I saw once one have a first contact with the harpsichord, and he was really, how can it be possible? What instrument? And he played, and he was really, because we are paid, and it's also a question of responsibility, and so we are doing new public. And sometimes we are playing a remix, and we see people really punks with the hair, sing our concerts. And that is really exciting, because it's people that are already crossing over the boards of the music. So let's be intelligent, let's be bright, and let's take that and make it something new. If not, I feel I'm not this year I'm not teaching, but I feel really depressed when I'm going to teach and I have to teach Ferling. I'm teaching the book Ferling for
Ferling, yeah. One fast, one is low. One fast, one is low.
I studied that on conservatoire on the high school, and I'm teaching that. I have to teach that from the last 24 years. I feel so depressed. We have to change that. I'm already doing my job. You are doing already your job. This is that is happening. It's that we are doing, and let's like Heinz always say, let's push further the oboe playing. Let's stop to sing as an oboe player and start to sing as a musicians, like Lebron, like Ram in Mozart's time. Ram played first time Mozart concerto. Let's sing as musicians. Let's write music. Let's write some theory about how to perform better and to take our experience to the paper. For example, one thing that makes me, just to finish, one thing that makes me really very unhappy, very sad. Once I asked really not really very good master, the biggest from some the biggest oboe teacher in the world ever, and I asked, can you please? I was doing my PhD, and I asked, can you please allow me to put that these things you are teaching me in a book, to make a book of these techniques, all these breathing techniques, embouchure techniques, embouchure exercises. Do you allow me to put these in a book, to write a book with this? And he said, no, not at all. You are not allowed, Jose. You are not allowed. Please do not do that. And I honestly think that is a crime. It's a crime against the civilization, because when he's gonna die, he's gonna take with him all this knowledge. He's gonna be burned in a crematorium, and with this very happy moment, very sad moment, in this very sad moment, he's gonna die with him all this knowledge. And that makes me cry sometimes when I'm home, when I'm praying. I'm Catholic. When I'm praying, sometimes I think in this program, and makes me really cry, because I love this teacher. I love this person as a human being, and I know that sooner or later he's gonna die, as we all, and he's gonna take with him more very precious and valuable knowledge of oboe. And but I respect his opinion. I respect him. If he doesn't want, I'm not doing that. I could do that. I could sell a lot of books and receiving a lot of money. But he asked me not to do that. I'm not doing that. But of course, I'm not doing that. But makes me really very takes me.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I think sometimes the same thing for some oboes when it's nothing. Yeah, but we can do nothing if they don't want. Is what we can do. Well, okay, Jose. Thank you very much for cooperate with our online festival. I hope to meet you soon in some point. Last time we couldn't meet you in your festival. Actually, you are organizing every year.
You are most welcome. Please come in October. With I completely forgot. Sorry. Thank you to say that. In next October, 28 and 29, you are most welcome to show your products and to a exposition. And
yeah, I would like, but problem is we are going to be fathers now, so.
Oh, yeah, but well, it's the only dates that Thomas could, as you know, is always traveling like crazy, and now he teaching in Shanghai also.
Who? Sorry, who?
Thomas in the Muller,
yeah.
he teaches also in Shanghai, and his life is completely chaos. It's only dates he have available, but it's gonna be a nice meeting because we're gonna make a concerto, 2 opus concerts with Zelenka, Vivaldi.
Oh,
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Temptation.
I'm studying a lot, not on my regatta that I have here. I use 2 oboes, my buffet to play in orchestra, and my regatta to play solo and really very fast and the things. For now, but I'm saving my regatta from to October to play with him. Just one dream I had since I was 19 years old is to play with him, and so
Yeah. Really would like to go but I think it's gonna be hard for us to reorganize our life and our job with the company. Let's see. Good life, but
everything is
I don't wanna have heart attack.
everything you know Portugal. We are a very friendly country, so I can find you a babysitter.
I was my boss.
Really easily, everyone's help.
Yeah, I know. Actually, anyway, I need to go for some personal stuff. I need to go to Portugal as soon as I can. That is mandatory. If I go, I will try to meet you and let's have a coffee at least. Very good coffee, by the way.
Okay, yes, I'm addicted to this Portuguese coffee.
Yeah. Ok, muito obrigado. Gostei muito de falar com você. Eu fiquei muito contente.
Ok, obrigado. Até a próxima.
O pessoal também vai gostar muito. Obrigado. Não esqueça de fechar a janela agora.
Agora fecho, não é?
Sim, é isso aí. Tchau.